Okay, right. All right, cool. All right, this is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of The Source of the Inkwell, live on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. You can check out this broadcast a number of ways. You can hit us up on KUAW.org, click Listen Now, or you can also go to KUAW-LPFM 98.5 on Facebook Live. You can also go to TuneIn, a TuneIn app on your mobile device, and type in KUAW. You can also go to YouTube, type in KUAW Radio. You can go to Twitter, type in KUAW Radio, and Periscope, type in, you guessed it, KUAW Radio. Those are all right? Okay, so KUAW is expanding. It's the urban voice for our city, and it's expanding to different channels, different modes, and different places where you can actually watch and listen to the station. We have a lot of quality shows on here, and there should be something for everyone in the household to check out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you want to donate, you can go and call us at 816-599-6893, or go to KUAW985 at gmail.com on Gmail. I strongly encourage people, if they would like to interact with this show, to call 816-599-6893. I had a show already planned earlier today. I had a guest, but it was really a special guest, and I don't want to ruin it because I kind of want the anticipation to build for that guest to arrive via Zoom, of course. Hopefully, after the orders are lifted, you'll probably see the guest live in the studio. So maybe that might work out as well too. But the guest was not able to confirm to come in. So I was sitting at home and I was thinking, what can I talk about today? What can I discuss? And I was perusing through. Okay, I was perusing through Facebook, and I clicked on one of my good friends' pages, and I was looking at a feed that she was talking about, and she mentioned a. Hold on for a minute. She was having a post up about brother Ahmaud Arbery. Brother Ahmaud was a young man who was murdered by two white men as another white man was filming. He was shot in cold blood as he was jogging. And of course, another video came out in regards to showing him actually looking inside of a construction house. Doesn't result in murder. So as she posted this comment, of course, this post, of course, there were a number of comments, and there was one particular comment that really struck a chord. And this individual was, in fact, gaslighting. Now, that really kind of brought something in my mind that, wow, this gaslighting is an issue that a lot of us deal with. And the gaslighting is, for people who don't know, gaslighting is a term that is used. It's used to describe abusive behavior, specifically when an abuser manipulates information in such a way as to make a victim question his or her sanity. So pretty much what a gaslighter does is, if you say, for example, hey, this man was murdered by racist means, then a gaslighter will try to make it seem like it wasn't the case. It's a mental trick, a mind trick, a form of manipulation to make you not acknowledge the ills that are going on. And I noticed that there's been a lot of that going on, and it's been going on subconsciously. And when The individual on the thread called out gaslighting. It just boom, just blew in my mind that this has been going on a lot further than what we think. And right now is definitely not the time because, I mean, people of color, primarily African American males, we've had enough of all this murder. Okay, it's one thing that you're killing us out in the streets, but it's even worse that you're out here making it seem like it's not what it is. I mean, you don't have the reality stone, so you can't formulate a reality to where what we're going through doesn't exist. It is existing. It is open season. I remember my first year teaching. I had students. I was teaching my students a class, and I told them, I said, "Do you remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoon?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, there was a Bugs Bunny cartoon where they were going back and forth saying duck season, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season. Well, it's open season on black folks. And I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what your religion is. You got to call it what you see it. I mean, it's been so many videos. Matter of fact, I saw a video today where there's been 12. It was about 12 police officers gunning a brother down. And all these times that I'm seeing this, these brothers and sisters are it's cold blood. So I want to kind of acknowledge that term, gaslighting, because I don't want to dig deeper into the Ahmaud Arbery case because it's gonna make me upset, and then two, I do want to throw this out there to my brothers and sisters who are posting comments. It's okay to show your support. It is. It's a beautiful thing to show your support by posting your feelings about this and by saying that you are running for this man. However, the advice I want to give you is do not let your support stop at your post. Do not let your support stop for one run. If you really love this man and you really are just sickening by what's going on, take your activism a step further than your post and do what you can do to stop this happening in your communities. What can you do to stop other brothers like him, other sisters that look like him from being murdered by racist means? So think about that, because I see a lot of people who like to sit up here, and it's okay to talk a good talk, but you got to walk it too. We don't have time for 15-minute revolutionaries. If you are really disgusted by this behavior and you really want to see a change, make that change happen. Go beyond your social media page. Get out in the community and do something. So I just wanted to get that out there because that's one thing that has been circulating in my mind, because I started seeing certain people posting certain things, and then like when it comes to activism, well, that's another show topic. Let's talk about gaslighting. I want you all to kind of take note on what we're talking about today, because some people don't know what gaslighting is and they don't know what it looks like. So what I want to do is I want to go through and give you warning signs and examples on what gaslighting may in fact look like. And because we've all experienced it, we experience it a lot, especially now, and you're seeing it more when it comes to race and politics. And I'll throw out some examples soon. All right, like I said earlier, gaslighting is a tactic in which a person or an entity or some order or some oppressive power is trying to gain some type of influence and over a person. And what they're doing is they're making the victim question their reality. Case in point, Ahmaud Arbery was murdered by racist means. It was a race-driven murder. And then you have people telling you, well, how do you know it was race? What makes you think it was race? They question your logic. I mean, you know for a fact in your heart, okay, this was racially motivated. But then you have people trying to question that. That's gaslighting. Or if you're getting bullied in school and you go to the teacher and say, hey, look, George is bullying me. The teacher's questioning, so why do you think George is bullying you? Are you sure you're not doing anything? So that's gaslighting. Okay, anyone can experience gaslighting. Anyone, no matter who you are. However, some people get it more than others based on who they are and who they're associated with. It's a common technique of abusers. It's a common technique of dictators. narcissists, um, cult leaders especially. It's done slowly. It's not done right there on the spot. That's why this particular gaslighting is very hard because there's been a lot of lead ups. It's gaslighting is done in chunks and sections. It's a slow progression because gaslighting is a form of brainwashing to make you think that, like, think about it, an abuse victim. Have you ever heard the term Stockholm syndrome, where the abuser falls in love with the person that's abusing them? Yeah, they're being gaslighted. I'm not abusing you. No, I love you. Like, for example, when I was younger, in the movie "What's Love Got to Do with It" with Ike and Tina Turner, there was a scene where Ike, I'm not gonna go in detail, but he was very abusive to Tina. And later on that day or the next morning, I don't know how time progressed, but he came home and he bought her a package, bought her a gift to take her mind off of the abuse. It's gaslighting. So, for example, there was even a movie that came out in 1944 called Gaslight, where a man manipulates his wife to where she thinks she's losing her mind. Whenever someone's playing a mind game with you, that's a form of gaslighting. So let's go ahead and knock this off. Okay, first things first. When someone is gaslighting you, they are in fact telling blatant lies. It's lies. That's all it is. And we all know someone who lives in a big old house in D.C. that does it a lot. So it's an on. You already know outright it's a lie when someone's gaslighting you because they're just telling you up front something that's not true. Yet when they're telling you the lie, they straight faced. It's like they tell the lie so convincingly. Like the expression does not change. Their eyes don't look to the left. They're looking you dead in your eye and telling you a bold-faced lie about what's going on. Because the lie. Okay, you might put in the comments on so I can see the comment. Okay, yes. The lie is setting the stage. All right, that's the foundation in gaslighting. So the lie is the foundation. It's setting the stage for this whole thing to perform. And so to the points where so if you take that lie in and you believe it, or you let that lie roll, then everything else that comes is just building upon that lie. So once they tell you a huge lie, you're not sure if anything they say is true. However, you're keeping an unsteady and off. However, it's keeping you unsteady and off kilter. So here's the thing: the person don't necessarily have to make you believe the lie, but it is throwing you off your game. So kind of keep that in mind. It's throwing you off your game. Oh, we got okay. Seeing the little caption at the bottom. Okay, so next, the person is they deny that they ever said anything, even though you have proof. So you got proof right here. You said this. You did this. Here's the video. Here's people that saw it. All right. Here's your written statement saying that you did it. And then that person, yet again, they deny it. They said they would do something. You heard it, but they outright deny it. Okay, so they're actually denying. You said you can't hear anything. Mr. Walker, you said they can't hear anything. Here's the video. Here's people that saw it. All right. All right. I'm checking the volume for you, Dave. We good? Okay. Was the mic off? Oh, okay. All right. So okay. So for example, you know, when someone is denying everything that they're saying that you saw them do, and you have proof outright for it, that kind of makes you question reality. Okay, now did I really? Okay, maybe I didn't see it like that. So when you throw out the evidence and you're trying to discuss and try to get that clarity of the sin that was committed, and that person's like, I didn't do it. It makes you question your own sanity. Okay, maybe I heard it wrong. Maybe I heard it wrong. And then The more they do this, the more you question it and the more you start accepting it. So you got the proof, and the person saying, "No, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It wasn't me." So you start to think, well, dang, well, maybe I heard it wrong. Have you ever been in a situation and you were like, man, I heard this thing wrong? Yeah, you're being gaslighted, especially if you got the evidence right there in front of you. Okay, that kind of reminds me when you're in school and you get that bad grade, and you go home and you try to gaslight your parents. Hey, what these D's and F's mean? I did all my work. No, I had an email today from a student saying that she did all of her work. She's trying to convince her mom that she did her work, but no. So I had mom look into her grade book. There was a whole bunch of missing assignments, but this child still swore up and down that she finished all of her work, and that was so she was trying to convince her mom that she did her work, but it wasn't even done. So, all right. Next, they use what is near and dear to you as ammunition. Now, this is dangerous. They're using what is near and dear, close to you as ammunition. So they're using your loved ones, the things you love and care about, against you. So they know how important your kids are to you, and they know how important your identity is to you. So those may be one of the first things they attack. If you have kids and they tell you you should not have those children, yeah, that's an issue. Or oh, I got one for you. If you have kids and people try to tell you how to raise your kids, they try to make it seem like what you're doing is wrong. Like, for example, if you have a parent that disciplines their child, they might spank their child. Then you might have someone try to put in their mind that spanking the child is a form of abuse. But spanking your child is not abuse. Now, beating the crap out of them is, but whooping your child is not abuse. You got people actually thinking that. One brother told me that he pops his son's hand if his son is touching things he's not supposed to touch. So someone tried to tell him that that's a form of child abuse. He said just tapping his hand. So yeah, let's see. They will tell you be a worthy person if only you did not have a long list of negative traits. They attack the foundation of your being. So, for example, they try to use your identity against you. They try to use your kids against you. They try to use your job, your credentials. They try to put it in your mind that if you go the opposite way, that everything that's close and near and dear to you will vanish. It'll go away. You will lose it. You'll lose your children. You'll lose your job. You'll lose your relationship. You'll lose your credibility. But really, in turn, following behind that mess and that mind trick, that will really make you lose yourself. They wear you down over time. Note the key word is time. Time will be used against you too. It's a process. It's progression. Like, for example, with this situation, why you see a lot of us, going off on this Ahmaud Arbery situation. People have been telling us for a minute that our racist, that this stuff is not racially motivated. It's not driven. No, it's not racist. There's no such thing as racism. Trump's not racist. All this stuff, but yet and still, you see all these things happening. It's time. It's a progression of time. And like I said, man, politics don't got nothing to do with it, because there's racist Democrats and there's definitely racist Republicans, racist independents, racist folk that don't vote. So when it comes down to it, don't ever let anyone tell you, if you see it existing, that it don't exist. All right, they wear down time over time. This is one of the insidious things about gaslighting. All right, check this out. It's done gradually over time. A lie here, a lie there, a little snide comment over here, a little manipulation right sprinkled in on top of that. But even the brightest and most self-aware people can be sucked into gaslighting. It don't matter how smart you are. Like I said, everyone is susceptible to it. The smartest man in the world and the dumbest man in the world, and everyone in between can fall right into it. It is that effective. It's effective. It's like a frog in a frying pan. When the heat is turned up slowly, The frog never realizes what's happening. But think about that. When someone is slowly pouring on the lies, you don't know what's happening. Kind of like with diseases and viruses, they attack you slowly. They kill you slow. It's that slow kill. As I always told, slow kill is the worst one because you don't know when it's coming. You don't know what's happening. That's what gaslighting is. It's that slow kill. It's that slow demise of your own sanity, of your own thought process. It's a progression. They are setting it up. They are using time against you. I mean, shoot, if it takes 20 years, it don't matter. They still got you. And think about this. I got one for you. You got people of color in this country thinking everything is cool. We all good. We all love each other. You know, someone was trying to preach some things biblically, and I get that. How there's only one race. That's the human race. Okay. It's one thing that you tell that the people of color are people who are more than likely oppressed. Won't you say that stuff to the oppressor? Tell the oppressor that. Tell them people who look like you that's oppressing folk that there's only one color. You know, Bible. I mean, when you want to preach the word, preach it to everybody. Cause see, people use religion to gaslight too. We have that conversation today. You know, it's I'm going to just flat out say it. You got people who will sit up here and use religion, because I'm not going to say spirituality, because spirituality is a direct relationship between you and God. They will use religion to have you thinking things. You got black folks thinking that they were destined to be slaves. You know, and that turns people away. You know, you have people that are flat out utilizing religion to come across with their little agendas. Now, there was a brother that told me that he was sitting in a church, and he said, Tyrone, I was the only person of color. He said, I acknowledge, I'm biracial. Mom's white, dad's black. However, I identify as a black man. That's me. I said, I get you. So he said, as I was sitting in this church, the pastor made a racially inappropriate comment to black folks. And I'm not going to repeat what he said on the air out of respect for, the nature of our station. I said, he said that? He said, yeah. And I said, the fact that he said that shows you that this isn't the first time. It was the lead up. And then when you walked up in there, it was the main event. I was up in a church, pure black church. It was black minister, black everything up in that church. And I'm sitting up in this church, and there was a visiting pastor. And this pastor came in there and made a very negative comment about black men and black men with braids in their hair. And when I heard that, I said, wow, this isn't your first time doing this. You've been setting this up. So you gotta sit there and think about this. If someone says certain things to you and it kind of makes you think, then you start the process. Have you been saying things that's been leading up to this? Like, for example, kids in class. There's kids that came to me and said, you know what? After really thinking about it, Mr. Such and Such or Dr. Such and Such, I wonder if they've been doing this for a while. Yeah, it's always a build-up. It's always a build-up. It's very rare that someone just flat out just say something. They're setting the stage. Because, see, it's one thing if I say something to somebody random. But you get more points, so to speak, if it's somebody who thinks that they're close to you, or somebody close to you, or someone that you see on a regular. I like that whole analogy about the frog in a frying pan. When they turn that heat up slowly, you don't know what's going on. Like my sister and I, when we were kids, we used to hate it when our parents would say, "I'm gonna whoop you, but I get you later." It's like, no, get me now. See, that's like an example of gaslighting. You don't know when it's happening, but it is happening. All right, number 5. Their actions do not match their words. That's a big one. Actions do not match words. When dealing with the person or entity that gaslights, look at what they are doing rather than what they're saying. Case in point, man says he loves his wife, but he's beating up on her. Teacher says, I love educating my students, but you're calling them dumb every chance you get. See, actions do speak louder than words. Next, later on with that, what they are saying means nothing. It's just talk. They're just talking noise. You know, just like what Prince said. Well, Prince wrote it. Tevin Campbell sung it. Nothing comes from talkers but sound. That's all it is. No, so all it is a sound. You need to watch what they're doing, because what they're doing, that reveals the main issue. So actions truly speak louder than words when someone's trying to gaslight you. For example, with this whole coronavirus thing, man, it was to the point to where I didn't care what they were saying. I was watching what they were doing. They were saying, "Yeah, you're supposed to wear these masks. Wear a mask every time you go in public." And the Surgeon General pulled his mask out of his pocket. I got my mask right here. And then the President Trump made a comment about his mask, and he said, "Oh, I'll put my mask on for you if you want me to." And then Trump said, "No, you don't need to." So when I saw that, I said, "Wow, for real? Y'all pushing forth this whole agenda about wearing these masks?" I didn't see not near person wear a mask on that coronavirus task force. Not near person. Not even Dr. Fauci. And that dude's foul too. I know a lot of y'all running around talking about Fauci this, Fauci that. Man, do your research on that cat. For real. Now I'm not saying he's all bad, but I'm just saying, man, he ain't as good as y'all say he is. So all them people up there with him with Trump talking about, this disease is killing folk left and right, and it's more prominent in the black community, which is also gaslighting, by the way. And I'm like, but none of y'all wearing a mask. So now what happened? You got White House personnel got COVID-19 and coronavirus. Dr. Fauci, he's self-isolating. See? So, you got to watch them actions. Then you got, Trump saying one thing and then doing something else. Then you got your boy Pence, same thing. Telling folk, take off your mask. I mean, so that's when people do stuff like that and the actions don't back up what's being said, it makes you question things. And really, if you can peep that early on in the game, then you really saved yourself from being caught up in a gaslighting situation. Seriously. Like let's go and take it back to middle school, high school. That little special someone say that they really digging you. And they say, "Hey man, or hey, I really like you. I really care about you. I want to get with you. I want to get to know you. Here's my number. I give you a call." And they never call. They never respond back to your little text message. See? Actions. Do they really like you? Do they got time for you? No. Watch the actions. Watch what they do versus what they say. Look at what I do, not listen to what I say. And I'm telling you, if you actually pinpoint and look at the actions of people versus listening to what they're saying, it'll bring out so much stuff. It will. It will. It'll save you that headache trying to process what they're saying and what they're doing and what's going on. Just like back to that whole piece with what's love got to do with it. I was always told love is an action word. There wasn't no love going on up in there. That was some sad stuff. I remember people used to laugh at that stuff, at that particular video or that movie. But like when you really think about it, how many people actually live in situations like that with abuse? You tell people, we're told to make fun of that type of stuff. And I'll admit, when I was young, I laughed at that stuff too. But when I got older and I started being around people who were in an abusive relationship, whether it was child, a parent, or significant other, or spouse, and keep in mind, abuse is verbal, it's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's all that. Shoot, it can even be spiritual. Tell someone that they can't worship in your house. It could be all that. But it's not a funny thing, because you have people in this situation where, okay, this person is saying that they love and care for me, but the actions don't back it up. And then this even sadder part is the person that's staying in that situation. Sad. I had a student who her father was actually doing this to her. He wasn't. He was slightly abusive to her physically, but the stuff that he was saying to her and the predicament and the provoking that he was putting her on, yeah, that wasn't cool. It was to the point to where her mom and her granny called the school just in tears about what this baby was going through. I don't like that. It's still in my mind, like, heavy, what this man was doing to this child. Okay, they throw in positive reinforcement to confuse you. You ever play that game Mario Kart? Okay, you're playing Mario Kart and you're driving your little buggy and you like, yeah, yeah, I just got through passing the second place person, now I'm first. So in your mind that's positive, I'm winning. But what happens? They throw a turtle shell at you and knock you off course. That's what they're saying right there. Don't let the positive things trick you. See, this person or entity is cutting you down and telling you that you don't have value, and they're now praising you for something that you did. You know, like you at work and your boss is telling you how poor of an employee that you are. Now all of a sudden, hey, good job. So this adds an additional sense of uneasiness. It's like you thinking, well, maybe they aren't so bad. But then it's like, yes, they are. This is a calculated attempt to knock you off your game. I mean, I fell for it. I fell for it recently. I'm in a situation where I got a coworker coming at me after we've been at war. You feel me? We've been at war for an entire year. And this person comes to me, they all in my face, telling me about what's going on at home, talking about how good of an employee I am and how this and all this and how valuable I am. And then what happens? They turn around and try to screw me over. So again, when they do stuff like that, it makes you question, dang, man, what's really going on with this person? It also makes you look at what you were being praised for. And was it probably something that served the gaslighter? So sometimes the positive thing they throw to you is something that's like probably mediocre or something that, it's a surprise. Like, for example, they try to tell us to praise kids for bringing their supplies to class. No, they're supposed to be doing that. So why tell a kid good job for bringing your supplies to class where they should have been doing that? Really, all you're gonna do is flunk them and fail them. So when someone out of the clear blue, if you notice they've been like real stank towards you, or real like, I ain't really feeling you about the clear blue, they want to give you a hug, you need to watch hugging folk, cause spirits jump. You'll mess around and hug the wrong person, and something gonna rub off on them and get on you, and you're gonna be tripping. That's another show topic. But but yeah, you need you need to really watch what people are saying. Watch what they saying. Like, in my profession, it's a shame that education is starting to turn into espionage now. That I haven't talked to you in months, but now all of a sudden you want to bring me up in a meeting about how good I'm doing. See, when people do that, you got something they want, whether it's something physical or something intangible or some type of idea. Like, for example, this person, they wanted my ideas and they tried to get them. But see, that coronavirus came in and sent everybody home. So guess what? I hope you're watching. You don't got my ideas now because we all at home. Boom. So yeah, they want something from you. Cause see, there's you see, everyone got something in them that's very attractive to somebody else. If you're if you're spiritual, you got the spirit of God in you, and that's very, very appetizing. It's people love that. If you're very intelligent, or if you draw people towards you, I want you to really sit and do your homework on yourself. Look in the mirror, stare at yourself. I don't care if it takes hours or days. Think about that good thing that's sweet. Think about that good thing that smells good about you. Think about that aromatic thing, that tantalizing thing. Think about that thing that drives people crazy about you. And when you figure it out, people will lie and do all they can to get it. Think about that. If it's your house, your car, your woman, your man, your kids, your job, your good looks, the fact that you can grow hair, something. Think about what it is, because people will try to do things to confuse you to get that. Sometimes people hate you because you. Think about that. All right. They know that confusion weakens people. God is not the author of confusion. So when you see confusion popping up, you know it ain't from him. Confusion. That confusion is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. See, gaslighters know that people like having a sense of stability and normalcy. We all know that. Excuse me. We love being on stable ground. If we didn't like being on stable ground, you see more folk living out on the ocean. But people like being on solid ground. They like being able to know what's going on. People like being like Marvin Gaye. They want to know what's going on. People know. We all know that. No one likes willingly being confused because it's a sign of weakness. So, if a gaslighter knows that you like being in a state of normalcy, their goal is to uproot you, pull you out of your little situation and make you constantly question everything. Think about that. Think about being in a stable relationship with a person, our friendship. And yep, you're right, pushing fear. And what they're doing is they're pulling you up out of that because they know, like, think about a plant. Okay? It's the best thing. I got this plant right here. I remember I was watching Family Matters. And I used to like the one when Steve turned into Stefan Urkel, because everyone, because I was a little geeky kid. Joshua, you watching John Lewis, you watching Armand. I've been knowing you and John for 2 decades. Joshua, I think I know you for a while too, but I've known you two brothers real close. Y'all know I was kind of like the geeky kid, little comic book kid. So whenever I would read, whenever I watched that, it would let me know, hey man, inside every little nerd there's that cool guy or that cool girl. So there was one episode where Stefan came over, and he gave the mama a plant. She said, "Oh, a potted plant. I never got a potted plant before." And he said, "You know what? I don't like cutting plants because they hurt too." That's what a gaslighter knows. They know that when they pull you out of your environment, you no longer have your environment. You're at their whim for them to place you where they see fit. See that? Think about that. See, they know that. They know that you are used to being stable. Like, think about your job situation. You working in your job. This is your job. You know this. This is your thing. Well, a gaslighter will set it up to where you're off your environment, because you know that when you're somewhere else, it's gonna take you a little while to master this. So while you're trying to take time to master this, guess what? Your invulnerability starts to wane, and then they can start poking faults in you. So the instability that the gaslighter does when they try to uproot you is very dangerous, because when they do that, they're doing it in a manner to exhibit your flaws, to make you feel weak. Because when that plant is taken out of the ground and placed somewhere else, like in a vase or on someone's windowsill or on them little things with the water in it, it's not as strong. Think about that. You are strongest at home. Why? Because it's yours. It is yours. There's an old myth where there was a man who, the farther he got away from home, the weaker he got. Matter of fact, that same story was adopted into the Dracula legend. The farther Dracula got from Transylvania, the weaker he was. So what did he have to do? He had to sleep in soil from his homeland, but he still wasn't that strong. So think about that. If I know for a fact that this person is strongest here, I'm going to do all I can to get them out of that. Get them away. One more story for you. I'm like Bill Cosby. Apollo had many kids. Okay. He had one particular son who was told that, hey, Apollo's your daddy. So the kid goes to Olympus. I don't know how he got there, but he goes there and he says, hey, he walks up in the room and he sees Apollo sitting up in the room, chilling, sipping on ambrosia with all the muses dancing for him and all the hours of the day and the seasons all around him. And the kid said, hey. Apollo said, how you doing? The kid said, I heard you my daddy. And Apollo said, yeah, I'm your daddy. And the kid said, hey, um, I need proof that you're my dad. Because all the kids are calling me all kind of names. Paulo said, well, what do you want? Kid said, hey, I want to drive the sun chariot. Paulo said, nah, you can't do that. Long story short, the kid sneaks in, drives the chariot. The horses knew, oh, our master's not here. So what happens? They start going all over the place. So when I'm saying that, those horses knew that the strong grip that we're used to was no longer here. So now something weak is here. We can take control. So when you are out of your territory, you're giving that gaslighter permission to take control of your territory. They know, get them out of there. Now think about it. You're walking down the street, the neighborhood dog. You're trying to get to, you're trying to get past the house with the neighborhood dog. So what do? That, like in that movie Sandlot, they try to distract it. They try to move that dog off its game. That's what a gaslighter does. They know they can't come at you head up, so they try to trick you out of what's yours. They did that to slaves. That's how I know on one particular show, I talked about the history of the Klan, how they used to take water bottles and put them up. How the Klan would put water bags up under their coats, and they would ride their horses, their horses to the homes of freed slaves, and say, hey, tell your woman to fetch me some water. And they'd drink the water, and of course they poke holes in the bag to make it seem like water was coming out of there, because they knew that that the blacks were very superstitious, and it would scare them off their land. That's how they would get the land, because they knew they couldn't get them head up, because there was laws that protected that, and also, hey, they were free men, they had guns then. So let's make them think that we're ghosts. See, they're tricking them into getting them off of their land. So now they're homeless and they got their land. That's why you saw a lot of nomadic black folks during that time period shortly after the Civil War, because they were scared away from their land. Okay. Let's see. Make sure my time's good. They project. Got 9 minutes? 18 minutes? Oh, okay. Cool. They project. All right, project. Think about Street Fighter. Joshua, I know you're a video game head like me. You know, when you play these video games like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, one of the greatest weapons of some of these characters is they get to do a projectile. They get to send something out. So, if they are a drug user or a cheater, they are constantly they are a drug user or a cheater, yet they are constantly accusing you of that. Think about it. They are projecting the image of what you see of them onto you. I wonder, in the Ike and Tina relationship, if Ike ever accused Tina of being an abuser. I'm sure he has. He had to. This is done so often that you start trying to defend yourself. Like if you were in a relationship and you know for a fact, man, my man is cheating. He is cheating. He is cheating. Every time they get with George and Armand, I know they're out there doing all kind of crazy stuff. He is cheating. But then when they come home and you try to accuse him of it, he spends it on you. Well, hey, I don't know why you saying I'm cheating. You the one be on the phone all hours of the night. You the one be saying you at the hairdresser. It don't take 3 hours to get your hair done. You know, stuff, little stuff like that. And then you thinking, well, maybe my behavior is can make someone think they cheating. So when they doing that, you know you're not cheating, but in your mind you're questioning your behavior. Maybe I am making it seem like I'm cheating. So now you're worried about how you looking while that person's going off doing what they want to do. It's a distraction. That gaslighter is distracting you. Like, for example, oh no, race wasn't a factor. Race couldn't have been a factor with the Ahmaud Arbery shooting. Man, if I could say BS on the air, I would. You can't tell me it's not racially motivated. Well, he was inside of a construction house. So, how many of us have done that? Now, even if you think race wasn't a fact, stereotypes was. I guarantee if it was a white dude, they wouldn't have shot him down. And your question is, you can't say that. Yes, I can say that. How many times have you seen white men being shot down by white men like that? This man was shot down by race. It was a stereotype. They automatically assumed this man was stealing. They assume that. And that's a stereotype. And stereotypes are derived from racism. So that individual that was trying to gaslight on that post, there you have it. It was racially motivated. It was. You can't tell me it wasn't. Because if your behind was up in there looking in that house, it wouldn't have been like that. They drove that man down, jumped off the back of a truck, and killed him in cold blood while someone else filmed it. And then the police covered it up. Now let me ask you a question. Will the police cover it up if they killed a white man? No. I'm sorry. Flip that around. Yeah, the police tried to, this happened back in February, and we just not hearing about it. They was hiding it. They were trying to protect those men. It was racially motivated. Everything tells you that it was. Trayvon Martin, racially motivated. Philando Castile, racially motivated. Miss Bland, mostly motivated. They all were. D.L. Hughley said it best. The most dangerous place for a black man is in a racist white man's imagination. They imagined that young man robbing that house, stealing, and they gunned him down. And the sad part about it, they didn't even own the house. To them, it's not racially motivated. Please, let me roll down in your neighborhood and do the same exact thing, and watch what happened to me. They try to align people against you. Gaslighters. Man, I remember telling somebody that the person who tries to get allies first, they're the one that's guilty. The person who tries to get allies first, they're the one that is guilty. Gaslighters are masters of manipulating and finding people they know will stand by them no matter what. Ooh, let me say that again. I'm going to find people to stand by me no matter what. No matter what. That sounds like Trump. Now, like I said, if you voted for Trump, that's your business. That's cool. But if you riding with Trump and you can't tell me one thing that man did was wrong, boy, you gaslighting up a storm. I voted for Obama. I'll admit that. And I can tell you, if we have a discussion, yes, I can tell you things I disagreed on. Or things that I felt Obama didn't do I wasn't too keen on, or I didn't agree with, or I felt he didn't do a good job on. But all in all, he's who I voted for, and I still support that. You can still support someone and tell the wrong that they do. I got lifelong friends watching this show right now, and I guarantee you, they will comment, "Yep, I will tell Tyrone when he's wrong. I love Tyrone. I will tell him when he's wrong." And the thing that gets me is you got these people that are saying that Trump is the Christian choice, but they don't use the Bible to defend it. Because see, I was always told in the Bible, one of my favorite verses, would you rather have you got some people out there that rather have a cut from an enemy, a kiss from an enemy instead of I'm all hyped up. You got some people out there who would rather take a kiss from an enemy versus a cut from a friend. So what I'm saying is, you rather haul off and let someone just lie to you or just tell you just little things that make you feel good versus telling you the brutal truth. Tell me the truth, because if you my real friend and you cut me with the truth, a real friend will say, you know what, let me mend that wound for you. But see, these gaslighters, they don't give a darn. They'll take folk and get on national TV and say something racist, and then because they know they got folk that say, oh, that wasn't racist. You sat there and asked a Chinese woman to go ask China. And then you got folk defending, oh, well, she was being rude. It don't matter. Now, I know people aren't going to like what I'm saying, but it is what it is. If I got up here on right now and referred to women as a pejorative term, and you know I was wrong, but I got all the fellas saying, oh, man, ain't nothing wrong with what he said. That's gaslighting. And here's the thing. Think about that. If you running around people and they yes men and yes women, that's the sign of a gaslighter. If all they got around them is yes men and yes women, and they're not holding them accountable, that's a gaslighter. Because someone who's real, they don't surround themselves around people that tell them like it is. See, here's the thing. They will make comments such as, this person knows that you're not right. Like when you watch certain news channels, whether it's Fox News or CNN, because both of them foul. They sit up here and they make it, they try to, they pick and choose who they support. And they have you thinking, okay, yeah. Or they make it seem like that what you're seeing is because I got all these folk with me. I can haul up and smack this baby and take its candy. But the fact I got all of these people that's riding with me, they're gonna say what I'm doing is right and you the one that's wrong. Like, for example, the fact that you can sit up here and defend someone going in someone's house and murdering them on their couch or in their bed is sick. It is sick. I don't care if they are wearing a badge. It's wrong. And then if you sit up here and tell us, well, we need to know why the person did not, man, no. There is no why the person did it. We know that person is right there, right in front of your face. You kicked up in the house and killed the person. And you and that's it. See, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you why I got a problem with folk telling me this. About I shouldn't feel a certain way. See, we're all different people. I am Tyrone Gathers Jr. Okay? You are a different person. My life is different than yours. Although they may intersect, we lead different lives. Therefore, I may encounter things that you don't, and vice versa. It's very common for a black man to feel racism in this country. It's very uncommon for a white man to feel racism in this country, based on how the cards are on the table. For you to sit up here and tell someone that what they're experiencing is not racism and you've never felt racism, man, that's dangerous. That is extremely dangerous. You don't have the authority to say that. And really, to be quite honest, I take it a step further. The fact that you're telling someone that they're not experiencing racism is in fact racism in itself. There was a situation where I was called a racial term, and someone tried to tell me, "Oh, no, they weren't being racist. They were just speaking." No, that's like telling a woman with a black eye, "No, your man didn't beat you. You gave him a reason to say something." No, I don't care what it is. Racism is racism. And if you are a person and you have friends that are in a group that is oppressed, your gaslighting does not, they don't need your gaslighting. They need you to be real and truthful. I'd rather you tell me to my face, "Hey man, you know what? I think he had it coming." Don't do the smoke and mirrors. Tell me how you really feel. Because you know what? If it's the truth, we can work through that. Like my Aunt Tina used to always say, the truth need no clothes. We can work through that. We can see that. I see where you are and vice versa. But when you lie, I got one. It's 1 minute on there. Yeah, I got 1 minute. Yeah, but when you lie and you try to manipulate, see, playing with someone's mind is a dangerous game. When you try to get in someone's mind and try to manipulate and do negative things, you are a dangerous person. Therefore, you need to be dealt with in a manner that we see fit. Don't try to warp someone's reality. Instead, talk to that person. Listen to that person. Don't try to tell them what they're going through don't exist. Because guess what? What I saw in that video is open season on people who look like me. That man was killed by pure racial motivation. I have a black son. I fear for him, and I know he fears for me at age 4. I saw a picture, and it sums it up best. I saw a black man hugging a black son. They both were saying, "I fear for you." So instead of trying to tell someone that fear don't exist, why don't you sit and ask them where the fear comes from? Do that. Be more of an ally instead of a gaslighter. This is Tyrone Gathers Jr., and you have been watching The Source of the Inkwell. And in the Inkwell, education overflows. And like ink, let it stain permanent. God bless. See you next week.